I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia. Guys, don't forget to set your reminders for Mike in the Night tomorrow night, Saturday, and don't forget to set your reminders for trends in the housing market, and subscribe to watch all kinds of stuff that's going up here. Anyways, let's start off with the markets, and let's look at the business side of what's been going on in the last day. So let's look at the numbers from Canada first. The TSX is down 318 points. It closed 2 hours ago, sitting at down 318, sitting at 11,851. The S&P 500 down 104 points, sitting at 2,304. The Dow down again, another 913 points, down 4.55%, down to 19,173. I think we've already lost all of the gains from Trump. I'm not too sure. Canada US dollar, Canada dollar uptick a bit, still at 69-cent dollar. That's horrible. Crude, it'd be good if Canada had exports. If Canada actually had exports, it would be good with a weak dollar, so we could actually have more attractive. But we're not even fabricating or producing anything here, so that's kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? Crude oil down 5.83 a barrel, sitting at 19.84. Could we see a negative oil barrel? That was in discussion. I was discussing that with somebody the other day over the phone who works on an oil rig off the coast of Mozambique and was saying, Mike, oil might go into negative territory. Really? He overheard it from somebody. BTC to Canadian dollar, nobody cares. I think it's at 6,000 and something. Gold futures are up $21. It's sitting at 15.01. Russell 2000 down. So you're going to see a lot of what do you call those? Hedge funds get hit today. Down 4.24%, sitting at 1,013. 10-year bond is 0.93. And NASDAQ is down 271, sitting at 6,879. The VIX volatility is down 8.28% at 66.04. I've never seen the VIX that high. And the FTSE is up, closed up last night, 39.17. The Nikkei in Japan, down 173. It's going to reopen in about 2.5 hours. The 225 sitting at 16,552.83, down 173 points. And Canadian to the euro dollar, nobody cares. All right, what is going on, guys? So let's kick off a couple of big stories here. Sobeys begin installing plexiglass shields at cash registers. The grocery chain is taking extra measures to protect its employees and customers from the COVID. So that's what Shoppers Drug, other places are doing. So that's what they're doing. Plexiglass. It's kind of like a gas station that went in downtown Detroit. Everybody was behind plexiglass. And I heard some cities in the United States, some teachers are behind plexiglass, I heard. I don't know if that's a rumor, but anyways. Latest testing recommendations limited to the very sick. So let's go over some of these. I have some of these open, so let's go over them here. Let's go over to the Australian markets real quick. The biggest utility bankruptcy in the U.S. history nears in an end. The biggest utility bankruptcy in U.S. history is drawing to close after the PG&E Group reached a deal with California Governor Gavin Newsom over the company's restructuring plan. So we knew this was coming for a long time, and they filed for Chapter 11 way back last year in June or July. And so they're struggling. They struggled for months to craft a reorganization proposal that will satisfy both creditors and state officials after filing Chapter 11 last year, facing $30 billion in damages from wildfires blamed on its power lines. The consent from the newsroom, who objected to earlier versions of P&G's turnaround plan, greatly boasts the odds utility will exit bankruptcy by the state-imposed deadline on the 30th. So this is what's been happening, guys. You know what's happened, and bankruptcies. And I'm wondering how they're faring over in the United States. In Australia with the fires too, with insurance companies. Latest testing recommendations limited to the very sick. The latest COVID pandemic, which has infected more than 246,000 people and killed more than 10,000. The COVID illness caused mild or moderate symptoms in most people, but severe symptoms and most likely in the elderly and those with existing health problems. More than 86,000 people have recovered so far, mostly in China. Again, who cares? Do you believe what China says? I'm following what is happening in Italy. So, and here it is, guys. Accept it. 3 states lockdown 70 million against the virus. So here are people like barbershops pretty much on standstill. Illinois and New York states joined California on Friday in ordering all residents to stay in their homes unless they have vital reason to go out, restricting the movement of more than 70 million Americans in the most sweeping measures undertaken yet in the U.S. to contain COVID. The state's governors acted it to fend off the kind of onslaught that it has caused the health system in southern Europe to buckle. The lockdowns encompass the 3 biggest cities in America, New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, as well as number 8, San Diego, and number 14, San Francisco. No, this is not life as usual, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said, as the death toll in the U.S. topped 200 with at least 35 in his state. Accept it, realize it, and deal with it. So, guys, here's the deal. They are behind. You need to understand something. The United States is behind 2 weeks and 3 days from Italy, right? Countries like Portugal, Spain are starting to catch up to Italy. Slowly, it's making its way west towards the Lusitania there. It's making its way from the Mediterranean all the way to the Lusitania, all the way to the end there. So keep an eye on that, guys. Netflix slows down streaming so the internet doesn't break. Wow. So many people are streaming that the internet's going to fall apart. Update, and what could be a harbinger of things to come in the United States, Netflix is taping the brakes on its download speeds in Europe in order to reduce the network bandwidth now that millions of people have committed to staying home. The move is in response to European Commissioner Terry Brenton, who spoke with Netflix CEO Reed Hastings, the service reducing its streaming speeds. Brenton is encouraging people and companies to switch back to standard definition instead of high definition, let alone the ultra crisp 4K, in order to keep the bandwidth pipelines following to all who need access during the crisis. So, guys, you don't need to watch stuff in 4K. You know what I'm saying? You can watch it on your phone, too. You know what I'm saying? You don't need everything in 4K. Busy signals dropped calls, but no major outages as Canadians strain telecom systems. Despite the sudden recent shift in how millions of Canadians are doing their work because of COVID crisis, it seems most parts of the communication systems were up to the challenge in the first week of widespread social distancing. There have been many cell phone calls that don't get through on the first try. Some high-traffic toll-free numbers have been busy to peak times, but none of the major cable, phone, or internet networks have reported a widespread outage. So that's not to say there weren't problems. But Entecol, whose carrier as a telecommunication professional has included setting up 1-800 numbers, said most seem to be specific bottlenecks. So this is he predicted there would be improvement as Bell adds capacity to its networks. So we'll see what happens, who and what is adding capacity to specific networks and who's moving up. So let's head over to the American markets here. The NASDAQ is sitting at, hold on, let me go back here. Okay, let's keep going back here. I thought I had that already. Oh, no, this is Australia. Let's head over to Australia. We already did America. Yeah, we did, actually. We had the Dow. The All Ords, Australian markets are going to be open in the next hour and a half. All Ords at 4,854, up 44 points. ASX up 33 points, sitting at 4,816. Australian to US dollar at 58-cent dollar. Wow. No wonder a pack of smokes in Australia is $50. Oil down, 1984, we got that already, down 583. Gold we got earlier. Then the Australian New Zealand dollar is at par. And what else do we need to know? We already got the Nikkei, got the Hang Seng. We already got the Dow Jones. All right, let's move on. Dairy of a crisis inside Wall Street, most volatile ever. Week diary. Sorry, guys. Diary of a crisis. Global markets. New York order spooks Wall Street. Offsets calm from policy efforts. Virus-fueled dollar surge is already hitting U.S. manufacturers. Cash and low rates, how G20 policymakers are stepping up. The 5 days when the world's economy guardians fought virus and market turmoil. Wall Street still dives as U.S. states lockdown. Bank of Thailand makes a surprise rate cut on virus fears. There's plenty of food in the world, just not where it's needed. Torn between oil and stimulus, loony fate hinges on 2016 low. 56 largest Canadian companies ranked by profit. Oh, that's an ad. I'm like, what is this? Dollar slides most since 2016 ending. Imperious rally for now. Global markets gain as central banks, governments pour in cash. Again, more stimulus coming, more of the repos coming, and you could see it in the job numbers, the poor job numbers that are being. This first quarter of 2020 is going to be a very interesting one. I'm glad I'm survived the first quarter of 2020. I'm grateful for that. Two, it's going to be very interesting to see the numbers for Q1. Can't wait second week of March till they start releasing the job numbers, the economy, all the stuff we need to know. I can't wait to get the inside scoop on thing. Every retailer is shutting down shop during COVID, while COVID outbreak escalating. More and more employers are telling staff to work from home, and some businesses are shutting shop entirely. That is not good. When they're shutting shop entirely, that means that it's a good time to get out right now, right? Update as of March 21st. Bonds has shut its Sydney airport store amid COVID. What else we got? Apple decided to shut down all shops outside of China, and we said that before. They didn't close any shops inside of China because in China it's really hard to sue. If you're a citizen in China, you get sick somewhere or something happens, you just can't sue somebody in China. It's really hard. Stores shutting across America. Nike, on March 15, Nike announced it would shut all retail stores in the U.S. and Western Europe. Disney announced it would temporarily shut down all retail stores location. Lululemon Athletica temporarily closed 38 stores in China. Las Vegas casino operators Wynn Resorts announced on March 15, Italy hit the hardest. Boutiques, multi-brand establishments, and department stores have been forced to close their doors after Italy's lockdown measures took effect on Thursday, the 12th of March. Bars, restaurants, and beauty salons and also ordered to shut down, with just public services and industrial production businesses allowed to remain operation until under strict hygiene conditions. So we got huge arguments going over social media that is a video game store considered essential, because there was a huge argument the other day over at one of the local video game stores that sell video games, that video games are essential to keeping people alive, basically, and they're fighting in malls. This place has a few locations, and they're fighting in the malls and in strip malls and other places, fighting to stay open because what they're doing is completely essential to humankind. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if you think video games are mandatory. Goldman CEO bucks Wall Street trend with 20% pay bump for 2019. Goldman Sachs Group Inc. awarded Chief Executive Officer David Solomon with $27.5 million compensation for 2019, his first year on the job. That's really good. I wish... Actually, I don't wish to have that. I don't need that. I'm happy with my wife and kids. I'm happy with my home. I'm happy with everything. If anything, that will put me into more trouble. Feds promise to help shifting auto parts to medical supplies. Aha. So auto parts to medical supplies. Now we're talking. The Canadian government says it will help the country's auto sector shift gears to begin making desperately needed medical supplies to fight COVID. Our healthcare professionals really need support, so our government will help these companies shift production from auto parts to medical supplies. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said in a news conference, with the virus slamming the brakes on North America's auto industry, there is access to capacity in the supply chain. Earlier this week, Ford Motor Company, General Motors Company, and Fiat Chrysler suspended operations across North America, laying off thousands of workers. In Canada, auto capacity had already been reduced last year's closure of GM's flagship plant in Oshawa, Ontario, after more than a century of production. So this is how I discussed this in another show, how BMW at one point used to make aircrafts. Until 1945 or 44, it went bankrupt. They reestablished a plant and they started making automobiles. You just gotta start transitioning. You don't close the doors and say, we're done. Start transitioning these things. You never know. A lot of these auto plants that get transformed into medical supplies might remain and stay as I remember Chrysler. They used to make cars. Now Chrysler's known for making medical supplies. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's keep going. Canada received over 500,000 EI applications this week. EI is unemployment insurance. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said 500,000 Canadians, or about 2.5% of the labor force, have applied for jobless claims this week, smashing previous records and suggesting the nation is already in a deep recession. Speaking outside his residence in Ottawa, Trudeau said Service Canada has received more than 500,000 applications this week, 20 times the number recorded at the same time a year ago. The Minister of Families, Children and Social Development Office confirmed Trudeau was referring to the applications for unemployment insurance. So the speed of the meltdown in the labor market has no precedent. The largest number of jobless claims for a whole month was 499,200 in 1957, according to Statistics Canada. 1957. Wow. Air Canada lays off over 5,000 flight attendants. That was all over social media this morning. Montreal Air Canada is laying off more than 5,100 flight attendants as the country's largest airline cuts routes and parks planes due to COVID. A union official said the Canadian Union Public Employees says the carrier is laying off about 3,600 mainline employees and all the Air Canada Rogue's 1,549 flight attendants. The layoffs effectively immediately will last at least through April. CUPE said they will impact more than half of the airline's 9,750 flight attendants. Wow. COVID. Canada beefs up liquidity plan with expanded mortgage guarantee. The Canadian government announced it will guarantee previously uninsured mortgages, allowing it to acquire those loans in a $50 billion, which is $34.8 billion US, state purchase program. The step is aimed at making it easier for smaller institutions which may not have enough insured loans to participate in the liquidity boosting plan, analysts said. The changes will allow mortgage lenders to pool previously uninsured mortgages into the so-called National Housing Act mortgage-backed securities program, making them eligible to be sold to the government. So, guys, keep an eye on that one. That's big. And Uptex to donate 240,000 doses of anti-malaria drug for COVID trial. Apotex Inc. is donating 240,000 doses of its drug normally used to treat malaria for a study aimed at preventing COVID infection in a frontline medical staff, the company said Friday. The drug, commonly known as hydroxychloroquine, will be used in a critical trial conducted by Toronto's University Healthcare Network. It will be given to frontline healthcare workers in a randomized controlled trial that includes a placebo to determine whether it would be an effective treatment in preventing further spread to the which had infected nearly 900 Canadians as of Friday afternoon. So they need to stop. They need to start pulling some stops here and start really figuring things out. Damage control inside the TSX, 34% slide from record high. It's been a stunning sell-off for S&P TSX Composite Index, with Canada's benchmark stock market shedding a third of its value in only a month. After reaching an all-time high on February 20, there has been almost no place to hide for equity investors, with only one of the composite's 230 members in a positive territory from last week's peak. Grocer Metro Inc. So here is the market action to face fallout. Energy down 48%, consumers discretionary 43%, healthcare 41%, real estate 39%, and financials 35%. You would honestly think healthcare would be going through the roof right now because they are looking for cures and they should be getting the funding, right? The Dow is recoiling, and one brutal labor market chart reveals why. The Dow Jones recoiled on Friday after Goldman Sachs severely downgraded its GDP forecasting and ING revealed an alarming labor market forecast. The Dow Jones fell over 600 points to close to turbulent week. The U.S. stock market struggled as New York and California went into lockdown. Dow bulls are wincing ahead of the historic jump in U.S. jobless claims in one chart ING shows. Here it is. Dow Jones slides in risk sentiment. So the Dow is about for jobs. GDP will contract by 24%. Massive volatility has plunged financial markets over the last few weeks, fueled by a rapid spread of COVID. The volatility has produced unprecedented moves in the Dow Jones, which suffered its largest ever single-day drop on Tuesday. Recent sessions have been less devastating, prompting some analysts to suggest that a technical bounce is imminent. CNBC analyst agrees, but still believes it's too early to call the bottom in the stock market crash. So here it is. Here's the historic leap in unemployment. Need I say more? Holy crap. It is impossible to tell how much of this pessimism has been banked into the Dow Jones. If the markets have already priced for the worst, investors could buy into any release that falls short of the direst prediction. But with the VIX volatility index still above 60, remember, guys, VIX is pretty high. Anything is possible. Guys, VIX is pretty high. I've never seen VIX that high, volatility that high, ever. Anyways, guys, that's what I got for now. And Dow drops below 20,000 this week. We already covered that in like 3 days ago. It went below 20,000. Let me know what you guys think on what's going on. Guys, don't forget to set a reminder to watch Mike in the Night and Trends in the Housing Market. Be part of the show. Let us know what's going on. Go ahead and join the channel right here if you guys like to. And if you guys want to come on one of our live streams, just add me on Skype. It's Mike Martins 1980. If you want to come on the show and tell us what's going on in your area, if you want, send me a video of empty shelves or what's going on, or toilet paper scrapping. People scrapping over toilet paper, please go ahead and do so. Also, if you want to go shop Mike Martins, go ahead to the Mike Martins shop here and pick up something. Pick up something if you guys want. Go ahead and pick something up. Shop Mike Martins. If you guys want to grab something, there it is, guys. Go down and shop Mike Martins. I don't know why this is covered here, but it's not really like that. But that's okay. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Lots of love. Share this video. Get it out there. Let's talk. Comment below. I'll be reading your comments shortly. Thanks for watching.